See, yesterday explained about static dispatching. Here two HTML pages, two servlets, here two servlets. What I asked is, instead of writing two servlets, one servlet I want to write, and here HTML, whatever you want, you can change. Here servlets, whatever you want, you can change. That is asked. Okay. So here I didn't say compulsory two HTML. One HTML also okay, I said. Okay. I said yesterday, here whatever you want, you can do. Here whatever you want, you can do. But here one servlet should be there, I said. Okay. See. See. Here. Username, password, here one radio button, mail, one radio button, chart, mail, chart, then submit button. You'll enter username, you'll enter password. Already know how to receive this username. Get parameter. Okay. Like that only for mail chart. First, how to create this radio button? Input type equal to radio. Okay. Suppose name equal to something option. Whatever you want, you can write. Value equal to mail. Suppose name equal to option, value equal to mail. Input type equal to radio. Name equal to option. Value equal to chart. Like this. You observe, for both the radio buttons, same name I written. Okay. Then how to retrieve? String s equal to request dot get parameter option. Okay. Suppose you selected chart here. Then what is the s value? This chart comes. Then you can write condition here. If s dot equals mail, then mail servlet. Then redirect to mail servlet. Response dot redirect. Or forward, whatever it may be. Here either forward or include or redirect. Else again forward or include or redirect chart. So this code we have to write in HTML. This code we have to write in servlet. Like that possible, no? Like this you can do. Instead of radio buttons, combo box also you can select. Combo box. Combo box also one item you can select. Or two submit buttons also you can write. For both the submit buttons, same name you have to write. So like this only. Name equal to option. Name equal to option. One name only you have to write. Same name. Then only one radio button you can select. One submit button you can click. One item you can select in combo box. These all you can use to implement that yesterday whatever I asked. Okay. But what is the problem here? Suppose in future, one more service introduced in that website. Online shopping. Then one more radio button you have to write. Here else if you have to write. One more service introduced. Suppose movies. Like a mail, chart, news, sports, movies, shopping. So many services will be there, no? If they introduce in future one more service, then again we have to write one more radio button, one more else if. If they introduce one more service, again radio button, again else if. Like this you have to modify. But without modifying any code here, you can do it with filters. How? I'll explain. That is the purpose of filter. Say, without filters also possible. But problem is, for every new service, you have to change the code. Every new service. Say, here mail is there, chat is there. In future, one more comes. One more radio button you have to attach. Here, one more input tag you have to write. Here, else if you have to write. But instead of this, we can go for dynamic dispatching filters. That is the purpose of filters. How to solve this problem with filters, I'll explain. Say, note down dynamic dispatching example. That is static dispatching example. Now, dynamic dispatching example. Dynamic dispatching example. Dynamic dispatching example. Dynamic dispatching example. Now just see the diagram. Login.html. This program also I'll explain. Login.html. Login form. Username, password. Submit, reset. When you click on submit button, here welcome solid. Something welcome username. Here you'll type username, you'll type password. Listen with more concentration. How the filter is useful in this application. Listen with more concentration. So with this example, the purpose of filter you'll understand. See, you have seen listeners, you got a clarity, no? Listeners are automatically executed. Servlets different, listeners different. Servlet, until you send request, servlet is not executed, but listeners automatically executed, no? That difference is there. But filter, how it will be useful in servlet programming, you observe. You will type username, you will type password, you will click on submit button. Here, welcome servlet URL pattern will write here. Form action equal to welcome servlet URL pattern. Now, here one more program, it is login filter. It is filter. Login filter.java. It is XML file. Web.xml file. In XML file, I'll write the code. Whenever request comes to welcome servlet, divert the control to login filter. Whenever request comes to welcome Sowlet, divert the control to login filter. I'll write what we have to write, how to write, we'll see later. What I'll do is here form action equal to welcome Sowlet URL pattern. Form action equal to welcome Sowlet URL pattern. When I click on submit button, control comes to welcome Sowlet. In the XML file, what I'll do is whenever request comes to welcome Sowlet, divert the control to login filter. Then control diverted. Control diverted to login filter. Okay, control diverted to login filter. So just I'm writing dotted lines. It is dynamic to understand. Now, to understanding purpose only, like that I'm writing. Now, you observe. Whenever you click on submit button, control comes to welcome Sowlet or login filter. Welcome Sowlet. Control diverted to login filter. So that is I written in web.xml file. Web.xml file we are writing. Okay. Then login filter receives username and password. Login filter receives username and password. Here database. Here database. Now here, if exist, here I'm not writing forward, include, redirect. It is dynamic dispatching concept. Here we'll write some code. What this code will do is, it will check in web.xml. If any other filter configured, other filter executed. If other filters are not configured, control comes back. Control comes back to Sowlet. Else invalid username password. Now I'll ask questions, give me answer. When I click on submit button, control comes to welcome Sowlet or login filter. Welcome Sowlet. That control diverted to login filter. That is through Java code or XML code. Through XML code. Okay. When I click on submit button, if the given username password is exist, then how many programs executed? How many? 2 programs. What are those? Welcome Sowlet, login filter. Which one executed first? I'm not asking control. Which program executed first? Login filter. Next, welcome Sowlet. If the username password does not exist, how many programs executed? 1 program. Which program? Login filter. Okay. Here, this dotted line, nothing but dynamic. Dynamic dispatching. Now you observe, listen. Dynamic dispatching. Listening is important, most important. See, dynamic dispatching. Here, login filter URL pattern I am not writing in Sowlet, and welcome Sowlet URL pattern I am not writing in filter. Got in point? So from here to here, no URL pattern, no concept here. That code, how to write, I'll explain. That is through XML included. Listening is most important. If listening is missed, attending class is waste. Because my every word you cannot write notes. Already told many times. This concept, see, I'm explaining, but I given diagram, I'll explain example. But this word control comes to log, welcome Sowlet, control diverted to login field, like that. Each and every point you cannot write notes, no. With the diagram only should understand. My every word if you write, daily one notebook required. My every word if you write. Now that's what listening is most important. Now, here login filter control diverted to login filter. That code I am not writing in Sowlet. That code I am not writing in HTML. That code I am writing in XML. Here I am not writing to pass the control to welcome Sowlet. I am writing some code, that is filter special code will write. What that filter code will do, it will check in XML. If any other filter configured, other filter executed. If other filter not configured, control goes back. Like this, control comes to welcome Sowlet. Now, this login filter independent program. It is not particular welcome Sowlet only. You can apply to other Sowlets also. For example, this is one program. One more HTML I'll write. One more HTML. Listen. One more HTML I'll write. Mail Sowlet I'll write. When I click submit button, control comes to mail Sowlet. In XML, I'll write the code to divert the control to login filter. Whenever request comes to mail Sowlet, divert the control to login filter. Then control comes to login filter. It will check in database. If exists, again control password to mail Sowlet. Does not exist, invalid username password. In future, one more service comes. What I'll do, one more HTML I'll write. One more Sowlet I'll write. Suppose chart program. Login page, again chart Sowlet. Then when you click on submit button, request comes to chart Sowlet. In XML, one more time I'll configure. Whenever request comes to chart Sowlet, divert the control to login filter. So this login filter not only for welcome Sowlet. This login filter can be applied to mail Sowlet also, can be applied to chart Sowlet also. In future, one more service comes for that service also. For n number of services, that filter you can configure. See, in future, if any new service comes, no need to modify Sowlet, no need to modify filter. But whatever I explained previous yesterday example, you have to modify. But here without modifying single line in a Sowlet filter, you can do it. But where you have to modify? XML. XML only you have to change. XML only you have to change. Now, validation I am writing in filter. Whether it is exists or not, it is checking in filter. It is checking in filter. Okay. See, when you click on submit button, control comes to welcome Sowlet. But is it welcome Sowlet executed? No. Control diverted to login filter. Then login filter executed. It will check in a database. Username, password exists. Then control comes back to welcome Sowlet. Then welcome Sowlet executed. Suppose just what I'll do, I'll remove this. What will be happen? Give me answer. I'll remove XML. XML configuration I'll remove. When you click on submit button, what will happen? What will happen? Welcome Sowlet executed. Now any username, any password, welcome. It is not validated. It is not validated. Now you want to include between HTML and welcome Sowlet, you want to include filter. Just add this code included. That is only yesterday given. A filter is an object that can be declaratively inserted in a request container process. Filter provides the only mechanism by which we can plug in code. So actually, submit button, if we click, control comes here. In between, this is included, no? That is plugin code between request and response. Between request and response, you can add some code. Dynamically, you can add. That is called dynamic dispatching. Control comes, but Servlet not executed. Servlet not executed. Okay. Control comes here, but Servlet not executed. Servlet, it will divert the Servlet will not divert the control. XML divert the control. The control diverted to filter. Filter executed. Then, if it is validated, welcome Servlet. Like that. See, for example, for understanding, better understanding, suppose when Advanced Java batch started, okay, when Advanced Java batch started, all people directly they'll come to classroom. Okay. Now it is just like a classroom. Welcome Servlet like a classroom. Now all students will come to Advanced Java class. What office boy will do? He will check whether he paid or not. If it is not paid, he'll send to office. He will not allow to inside the class. What he'll do? Admin or office boy, these people are what they'll do? They'll send to office room. Then you'll go to office. Actually, you came directly to classroom. But what they are doing? They are sending to office room. Year after paying, again you're coming back to classroom. So this is like a class office room. This is like a classroom. But student directly comes to classroom. But will they allow? No. They'll send to office room. And office, if it is validated, you are allowed. That type. First you are coming to classroom only. But they are not allowing into classroom. They are sending to office room. Here. First control coming to welcome Servlet. It control diverted to login filter. That type. Okay. Like this code dynamically we can include. If we don't want, you can remove. Anytime you can add, anytime you can remove. That is called dynamic dispatching. This is the purpose of filter. But this code we cannot write with Servlet. If it is possible with Servlet, why filter? Okay, it is not possible. In a Servlet, if you want to pass the control back also, this Servlet URL pattern you have to write. If you write URL pattern in that Servlet, that Servlet only for that particular Servlet only. But it is not specific to welcome. It is common to all Servlets. Whichever you configure here, according to that it works. That type programming is filter. Is it clear? Write this diagram. Here one more HTML. Here mail servlet. From here, control comes here. It is login.html, another HTML. It is normal login.html. It is mail login.html. It is mail servlet. What we can do? We can divert the control to login filter. Again, control coming back to mail servlet. This like this, you can write in XML. Suppose in future, one more service comes. One more HTML. One more servlet. Control comes like this. Divert the control to filter. Filter to servlet. Like this, n number of services you can add in future. No effect on servlet, no effect on filter. You can add. This filter you can include for other programs also. That is the purpose of filter. Like this, possible with filter, not possible with servlets. Clear? Now, to write filter program about filters, filter some information required about filters. Filters same as servlets. Filters same as servlets. Filters same as servlets. Filters same as servlets. Whatever you studied servlets, almost like that only. Filters do not have main method because filter runs under server. Filters do not have main method because filter runs under server. Filter has life cycle methods to run in server. Filter has life cycle methods to run in server. Life cycle methods of a filter. Life cycle methods of a filter. Say, filter same as servlet. Filters do not have main method because filter runs under server. Same servlets you studied, no? Servlets do not have main method because servlet runs in server. Same style. But execution purpose, life cycle methods required. You studied servlet life cycle. What are the methods? Init, service, destroy. Now, here also 3 methods. Init, do filter, destroy. Another. Init, do filter, destroy. init, do filter, destroy. When init method called in solids, when service method called, when destroy method called, solid instance removed. When solid instance removed, whenever web application is undeployed or server shuts down. If first request comes, how many methods called? Two methods. What are those? Second request, third request, last request. Same style here. Init, do filter. Again, second request only do filter. Third request only do filter. Like this. Now, note. Init method called by web container whenever first request comes to a filter. Init method called by web container whenever first request comes to a filter. Do filter method called by web container for every request. Init method called by web container whenever first request comes to a filter. Do filter method called by web container for every request. Whenever filter instance is removed from web container. Init method called by web container whenever first request comes to a filter. Do filter method called by web container for every request. Destroy method called by web container whenever filter instance is removed from web container. Filter instance is removed whenever web application is deployed on server. Web application is undeployed from server or whenever server shuts down. Filter instance is removed whenever web application is undeployed from server or whenever server shuts down. Filter instance is removed from web container. Filter, one minute. Filter instance is removed whenever web application is undeployed from server or whenever server shuts down. Okay, right. Init, service, destroy. These three methods belongs to which interface? Init, service, destroy. These three methods belongs to which interface? Which interface? Solid interface. Okay. Solid interface inverted in generic solid. Generic solid inverted in Like that, here also filter interface is there. Inverted in generic filter. Generic filter inverted in HDB filter. Same style. Okay. Noted. Life cycle methods. Life cycle methods of a filter are the part of Jakarta.Saulet.filter interface. Life cycle methods of a filter are the part of Jakarta.Saulet.filter interface. Life cycle methods of a filter are the part of Jakarta.Saulet.filter interface. Here Jakarta.Saulet.Saulet interface. Here Jakarta.Saulet.filter interface. Write these three methods. See, init method takes filter config. Their init method takes Saulet config. Here their service method takes Saulet request, Saulet response. But here do filter take three parameters. Filter chain. This is only will help you for dynamic dispatching. This filter chain, it will help you for dynamic dispatching concept. Okay. Destroy. You see, init do filter, destroy. Init, service, destroy. Only service place, do filter. And one more additional concept, filter chain. Okay. This filter chain supports dynamic dispatching concept. With this only, we'll see. Is it over? Filter config, filter chain, these two interfaces, same. But you observe how many abstract methods here? One. It is compulsory. These two default, non-abstract. Okay. It is not mandatory to override. Java 8 feature. Java P. Here generic filter also is there. So previously it was not there. Later introduced generic filter, HTTP filter. Here you observe init method. Init method overloaded. Here get servlet context for getting servlet context. Servlet config also we use it to get servlet context. Like that only method. Here also servlet context you can access. Because servlet context common to all servlets in a war file I said. Common to all servlets, listeners, filters. Filter also can use the servlet context. Okay. HTTP filter. Here, two do filter methods are there. Note down. These methods note down. Here, do filter, do filter. Here, solid request, solid response, filter chain. HTTP solid request, HTTP solid response, filter chain. Which is life cycle method? First one or second one? You studied two service methods also was there. Which is life cycle method? You can identify with that knowledge. First one or second one? First one is life cycle method. This life cycle method calls non-life cycle method. Which one is better to override in program? First one or second one? Second one, because HTTP servlet request is a sub interface of servlet request. If you use servlet request, can you access HTTP servlet request methods? No. If you use HTTP servlet request, can you access servlet request method? That's what second one better. Same whatever you studied. So it is life cycle method in non-life cycle method. It is life cycle method. Life cycle method, non-life cycle method. Life cycle method, non-life cycle method. Noted. Here, life cycle method calls non-life cycle method. Here, life cycle methods. Here, life cycle method calls non-life cycle method. So, if you override this one, it is going to call. You studied service calls, non-life cycles, life cycle service calls, non-life cycle service calls, do get, do post, like that. Like that. Here only do filter, no other method. Okay. Note filter. Okay. Jakarta dot solid dot filter. Ready, son? Filter inverted in generic filter, generic filter inverted in HTTP filter. filter, generic filter, HDP filter. If we inherit filter interface, how many methods mandatory to override? How many? One. If you inherit generic filter, one only. HDP filter, no method mandatory. But overriding which one better, life cycle or non-life cycle? Non-life cycle better. Because HTTP solid request, HTTP solid response can access. Okay. Is it over? How many ways to write solid program? Same style. Here also 3 ways. Note on. Here also 3 ways to write filter program. By first one, by implementing filter interface. Second one, by extending generic filter class. Third one, by extending HTTP filter class. Here also 3 ways to write filter program. By implementing filter interface, by extending generic filter class, or by extending HTTP filter class. Every filter must implements filter interface to derive life cycle. So if you extend HTTP filter also, filter interface inverted. If you extend generic filter also, filter interface inverted. Next. Every filter class must be public because it should be accessible. Every filter class must be public because it should be accessible to web container, to create an object, to call lifecycle methods. Every filter class must be public because it should be accessible to web container to create an object to call lifecycle methods. These are all concepts you studied for solids, no? Same concepts, no change. Is it over? Now. Now, this is you are going to see. File, new, dynamic web project. Something project name filters. Okay. Next. Generate web.xml. Finish. Right click. New HTML. Login.html. This HTML already you studied. Same HTML. BG color. Something. Level 1 heading. Underline text. Later, if you want, whatever you want, you can design. Okay. If you want any other style also, you can design. But designing is not important. Filter is important, remember. Because this designing, no one will ask in interview. Even if you don't know HTML also, nothing will happen. They won't ask about HTML in interview. They won't ask about Eclipse in interview. Okay. Form tag. Here. Here, method get record or post record. This is our diagram program. Post record or get record? Post. Why post? Confidential data. Method equal to post. Action equal to which solid URL button? Welcome solid. So welcome. Input type equal to text. Name. Uname. Line break. Input type equal to password. Name. Keyword. Line break. Input type equal to submit. Input type equal to reset. This type of program already you studied. Center alignment. Right click. Run as login.html. Username, password we didn't write. Okay. Here this label we ought write. Nodal. This program write it. What is welcome? URL pattern of welcome solid. Username, password, uname pivot, request parameter, names. URL pattern of welcome solid. Request parameter names. Labels. Username, password, labels. Uname pivot, request parameter names. URL pattern of welcome solid. This is only for user understanding purpose. But this uname pivot, you must write in the same in the solid program and login filter. Same you ought write. This URL pattern must be in the XML. Okay, or annotation. Using annotation also possible, no? Now, next, right click, new, solid. Package name, suppose filters, welcome solid, See, if you want to write mail solid, separate package is there, java.mail package, that it comes under frameworks. Java mail API, separate is there. Mail program if you want to implement your own. Solid, not suitable. Java mail package, separate mail package is there for mails. And that's what just I'm writing welcome solid here. Which type of request coming? Post. So then do post you have to override. It is just a welcome program. You need to retry username, you have to print. Validation in filter. Year validation. Checking in database year, not year. It is only welcome username. What do you have to write? Get parameter. Print writer. Get writer. If you want to add HTML, you can add. Up to here, if I run, what will happen? See, right click, run on server, save. Login.html. Okay. Any username, any password. Welcome username. Okay. Now it is not checking in database. Now I want to add filter between login.html and Solid. It is possible. Dynamically we can add. First of all, this program write it. Welcome solid.java. Redis welcome solid. It is welcome solid.java. Previous one login.html. In these two programs, have seen any new concept? No. Whatever you studied already, as it is there. There is no change. Whatever you studied, that type only. Now, between login.html and welcome solid, dynamically we can add login filter. That is possible. Without modifying single line code, we can add. But with solid's not possible. So between login.html and welcome solid, if you want to add one more solid, not possible. But filter we can add. That is only dynamic dispatching concept. Dynamically we can plug in, we can plug out. If you don't want, you can remove. If you want, you can add. So plug in, plug out concept possible with filters. Say in this diagram, it is HTML. It is solid. When you click submit button, solid executed. Now you enter any username, any password here, welcome shows. But in between, I want to add filter, possible. Now control comes like this, diverted here, again it comes here. That means in between only executed, no? But like this, if you want to include solid, not possible. But it is possible with filter. If you don't want, remove this. Then this will be broken. The links are broken. If you want, you can add. Anytime you can add, anytime you can remove. That is possible with filters. So the main concept is filter here. This is we'll see on Monday. Okay. This filter program you'll see on Monday.